What would I without my little secretaries? Maggie's my, my recording secretary, and Alana keeps us all not being like sideways, keeping us even on our two sides when I forget a pose on one side. So thank you. Anyways, the yoga of sleep. It's just so important, but just general sleep hygiene things. If you struggle with sleep, these are just some basic things to try. One, try to have a sleep schedule, just like your baby's nap schedule. Try to put yourself on a sleep schedule where you try to go to sleep at the same time every night and you wake up at the same time every morning, regardless of what the day holds. Saturday is the same as Tuesday. So that is one thing, is developing rhythm, cutting out caffeine, cutting out alcohol, cutting out sugar as much as possible. The half-life of caffeine is 6 hours. So if you drink a cup of coffee at noon, at 6 p.m., half of that cup of coffee is still in you. So if you have a double espresso shot, at 3 p.m., you're going to be experiencing that at midnight and beyond. So caffeine, alcohol, sugar. Take away screens as much as possible in the hour or two before you go to sleep, especially interactive screens such as video games or things that are more interactive. Something like reading or even watching television is less impactful on the brain than more interactive devices. Moving into red light instead of blue light as the evening rolls on, so that your melatonin cortisol regulation starts to kick in properly. And if you don't know how to do that, you can switch your phones and your computers to have red light screens, and you can set it on a time schedule so that you take away that blue light. You can dim lights in your house. Try to, like, go into the quiet zone of light into your evening. Make your room that you sleep in as blackout zone as possible. And that includes things like alarm clocks or like a little red light from a electronic something or other to, put black tape over it. Have your room as dark as possible. Have your room as cool as you can tolerate, so that you're not sleeping in a hot room, but you're sleeping in a cool room. Don't eat a whole lot before you go to bed. I'm trying to think, what am I missing? I feel like I could be missing something because there's a whole lot of things that create sleep hygiene. But if you do struggle with sleep, you can kind of move through some of these checklists to help you offer yourself the best opportunity for sleep. So yoga, how yoga impacts this. Obviously, when our cortisol and melatonin balance is off, which often happens from stress, we can have a dysregulation of our hormones when we're trying to sleep that can keep us very awake. And there's a lot of hormones that affect it. It's not just cortisol and melatonin, but the more we can exercise, not more, but if we have consistent exercise and if we have a consistent practice of something that de-stresses us, whether it's your yoga practice, meditation practice, whatever it is for you that helps you to lower your stress levels, all of these things will help you with your sleep. And then the last thing, I would recommend is keep track of your sleep. And I don't necessarily mean with a device, although there are devices that will tell you how much REM you're getting and how much deep sleep you're getting if you wear one of those tracking watches. But even just recording in a journal, the how well you're sleeping, and jot down a couple of things that you think might be contributing to good sleep and poor sleep can really help you start mapping your own rhythms of rest. So why do we want to rest? So many things, reasons why we want to rest. Every part of our body needs rest in order to function well. One of the things I learned this weekend in the cranial sacral system is the lymphatic system of the brain. So it's kind of like the lymphatics in our brain. Every night when we are sleeping, especially in deep sleep, we have kind of a flush through our brain with the cerebral spinal fluid that allows us to clear away toxins, amyloid plaques, tau particles, all the things, right, that can lead to brain dysfunction. We have a clearing, a sweeping, like the street sweepers that come and take our leaves and things away on the streets. So sleep is really important for brain function, for healthy brain function, as well as every other part of us, our glucose control, our blood pressure, our immune function, you name it, our sleep helps with it. So hopefully all of that has just inspired you to really prioritize good sleep. I think we live in a culture that does not prioritize good sleep. And people wear their sleeplessness like a badge of courage or a badge of honor. And really, we should be wearing our sleepfulness like a badge of honor. Okay, so the more you can take care of yourself in this way, the better. So at the end of class, we'll do a little bit of a longer Shavasana, and I'll just guide you through a little bit more of a meditation, like a relaxation, progressive relaxation meditation, which is just like a teeny little sampler of what Yoga Nidra might be like. All right. So let's go ahead and sit up straight and tall. And remember, there's so much available online that's for free to help you with these things. So if you're interested in Yoga Nidra or iRest by Richard Miller, you can find things online without paying. All right, so drop your awareness down into your body. And discover that sense of grounding that present moment awareness can give you. So maybe eyes closed for a moment so you can rest your eyes behind your lids. Imagine your lids are like the blankets that you cozy under when you're going to sleep, and allow your eyeballs to feel the surrender and the support of your eyelids protecting them. And melt your brain, relax through your skull as best as you can. Try to feel into any place in your skull that might be holding some tension, and let's soften and release. Drop your attention and your awareness down into your body, feeling a grounding, settling, feeling a sense of open-hearted spaciousness. Move your way deeply into your breath. That's one of the things I forgot in the sleep hygiene is if there's any chance you think you might have sleep apnea, to address it, to go get yourself checked out. So feeling your way into the rhythm of your breathing now. The full expansive breath, full complete exhale. On this next couple of rounds of breath, see if you can stretch the exhales long and have just a moment of holding, maybe or two or three or even a four count. Hold after your exhale. Hold your exhale out before your next breath in. And when your breathing arrives, check in with yourself and notice if you had to gulp your air. So try to get that rhythm just right where you have a little bit of breath hunger, but not starving for breath. Kind of like, the feeling you get before eating meal that you're hungry for, but not like freaking out because you're so hungry for. Okay, so just a teeny bit of breath hunger, like excitement for the incoming breath without feeling panicky in any way. You're ready after this next round of breath that you're currently doing. You can return to a normal rhythm of breath, and you might notice your breath is naturally a little longer, and that's wonderful if it is. Try not to obsess over your breath, but also be with your breath. Pay attention to your breathing as you return to a more natural way of breath. Again, melt your eyes, melt your face. Let's go ahead and bring our palms together at our heart and just center. Feel your way into the intention for the day. Relax your hands. And let's find our way onto our back. All right, so as you stretch out, I was saying earlier, have your smushy ball and your rolled towel. We're not going to do a lot of breath work with the smushy ball today. We're going to do a little stabilization with it. But let's start our practice on our back. We're going to take the rolled towel like we sometimes do. And if you're unfamiliar with this, it's just like a kitchen towel with 3 rubber bands on it rolled. And we're going to do a little bit of massage down our spine. Okay. So as you start this, we're going to take the roll towel at the top of our shoulder blades, bend your knees, feet on the floor, and we're gonna rock with our pushing off of our feet, rocking top to bottom, crown to tail over that roll towel. And then we'll have 3 positions with the arms. Arms directly over your chest, and then arms directly over your head. And then arms out to one side. Yeah, all the while rocking. And then arms to the other side. So you can go about that pace, or you can go slower or faster. Just follow what your body wants right now. And you might find either an arm position or where the towel lands in position on your back, where you're like, ooh, that's a really good spot for me. Then kind of hang out in your really good spots. Okay. So this is meant to just nourish our spine, kind of giving some freedom into all of the ligaments and tendons and muscles and fascia that wrap around our vertebrae, to give a little stimulation into the dural cord. You know, even your spinal cord has layers of fascia around it. So, you know, let's just imagine that we're loosening any restrictions or binds that might be traveling along your spine, whether it's on the outside close to your skin or right up against your spinal column itself in that deep fascia. So let yourself enjoy this. The other, you know, collateral benefits that start happening is we get to breathe and we get to feel our ribs open up and our chest open up a little bit. So try to enjoy what you're doing. Notice your breathing. Try to stay in some beautiful, good, deep breaths as you do this. You can always adjust the towel any which way feels good. And like I said, if you find a spot that you're like, oh, that's just such a good spot, then hang out there and just rock on it for a little while. I can't say enough good things about some self-massage. If you're looking for tools to put in your toolbox to help with stress reduction, rocking it like we're doing is such a beautiful thing to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. And of course, all the self-massage and self-care that you're doing right now can lend itself to decreasing our stress load too. So start to notice if you can feel the nervous system kind of kicking into that parasympathetic a little bit as you find that rhythm of rocking. Allow your head to rest down. Feel the ease through your spine, through your breath. And like I said, everybody moves at a different pace in this. And even if we don't get, if you're a slow one, that's awesome. The slower the better, in my opinion. But you know, we're in the interest of actually doing some yoga poses, we won't spend as long doing this as we might when we're on our own and just have all the time in the world. So if you are moving slowly and I finish before you when we start to move on, you can either ignore me and just stay doing what you're doing, or you can just abandon ship at whatever point you're at.
Now, when you get to the, bottom of the rib cage, it starts to feel a little different when this gets into your low back. So you might feel like you have to just pick up your knees and you can rock a little bit side to side. You can rock a little bit top to bottom and maybe find a couple of places in your low back that feel good to have a little bit of this rolled towel kind of pressing in here. And you can kind of abandon the arm movements because you're holding your knees. And notice the difference between rocking a little bit left and right, which will kind of dive into those deep low back muscles, as well as rocking a little bit to and fro, crown to tail. And then when you get to again, any spot that feels really good, just hang out. Ignore me completely. If you're like, oh, I don't even want to do yoga now, I just want to do this, then do this. Okay, so you can always ignore me. When you do get back down to the sacrum, you're going to put your feet down onto the ground and find a little rocking here. Now you might think the arm positions don't matter anymore, but our crown is definitely connected to our tail. So let's go ahead and find those arm movements again, even though it may not have as strong of a sensation as it did when you had the rolled towel under your rib cage. One of the things that I was paying a lot of attention to in the craniosacral training that I just did is there are these connections between the cranium and the sacrum. And we are fascially connected for sure from one to the other. So never underestimate the power of their influence upon each other, good, bad, and otherwise. Right. So the more we can keep those connections alive and well, the better off we will be. How is your breath? Then when you get down to the tailbone, you can straighten your legs and maybe push off your heels. Maybe that was where you wanted to be when you were a little higher up. Just kind of experiment and see what feels good for your body. And then when you're ready to be done, and there's no rush if you're still doing it, or you can just abandon where you are and join me, whatever feels good, your practice. But take a moment to just find the stillness on the ground. Let your limbs rest down and notice the aliveness that something so simple has offered into your spinal column, your vertebrae, all the tissues around. Notice what the rocking has done for your state of presence and the nervous system state. All right, and then let's reach our arms overhead and feel that extension of stretching one side and stretching the other side and enjoying the side bodies now having as much of that kind of awakening as our spine just did. All right, and then bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a hug here. You can rock a little bit from side to side if you want. And then let's hold on to the knees and find some circling and pay attention to the sacrum. See what it feels like to kind of sweep across it as you circle the knees. Go the opposite direction. Notice that this pattern may not be as familiar in the body, but can you still feel that sweep across the SI joints and the sacrum? All right, and then let's open up the knees away from the center and bring them back in toward the center and find some movement of the hip joints. Then right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground, and let's move around in the ankle joints. And let your head get heavy. Feel that freedom come into the feet as best as you can. And then change sides, left knee and right leg comes long on the ground, and feel free to move and wiggle and swish about in your ankles and toes. A good squeeze of that knee, and then find that expressive star on the ground where we reach our limbs really wide. And then exhale and draw your knees in, head comes up, a snug little ball. One more time, feeling that expansive energy. While we're out here, let's wiggle our fingers and toes, touch the air, feel how wide and big you are. Maybe internally and externally rotate your legs a little bit. You can even do the same with your arms if you want. And on your next exhale, draw your knees in, pick up your head and snug little ball. Let's take a roll onto our side and come up onto our hands and our knees. So as you find your way onto all fours, begin with some cat-cows. And your spine should feel like it's already had a good warm up. So maybe you'll notice a difference in your cat-cows, that it isn't as newbie feeling of movement as sometimes it might be. Let's enjoy the full flexion that's available. Enjoy the full extension that's available. So, as you round the spine and arch the back, let's just enjoy. Ripple through your vertebrae. Feel how it impacts your ribs and your breathing. And then wag your tail and just get a little bit of freedom in a snake-like movement in your spine. So see what kind of side bending ripples you can make now. And then feel any kind of movement that feels good. It could be some circles. It could be anything that feels right in your body. Think less, feel more. Remember, we're not trying to do anything. There's no goal. There's no expectation. Just becoming aware of sensation. And then stretch back towards child's pose and walk the hands far out in front of you, and inchworm your way there. Feel that extension through your shoulders. Walk the hands to one side or the other. We'll go both. So choose a side, drop some weight into the pelvis and feel that side body open. And start from the outside and work your way in. Feel the stretch of your skin from your armpit to your hip, your hand to your hip, but also that fascia and the muscles, moving into the ribs and the bones, moving into the lungs, and then moving into those vertebrae and how they're the windows, the side windows are opening. Lots of pathway for those nerves to come out of your vertebrae. And then come back to center and walk the hands to the other side. And first just find the placement of your body. And then again, with breath, see if you can travel from the sensations on the outermost part of your body, your skin, your fascia, your muscles, your bones, all the way into the lungs, all the way to the spine. And then come back to center. And as you come up onto all fours, again, feel any movement. Maybe your feet want to move, so anything that feels good. And we're going to find our way all the way up to dog pose. So hands down onto the ground, feel that extension. Let's get your feet to be invited into the party now. So pedaling, dropping one heel, bending the other knee, feeling the back of your legs kind of zing open. Rediscover your breath. Maybe feel the spreading of your hands and your feet. Feel your toes and how much they can feel the ground. Yield and then push off to lengthen. Let's melt the skull and maybe bobble the head, or just let it release. And can you feel that line of connection from your crown to your tail here? Difference in gravitational pulls, but same sensing of awareness in your body. And then walk your feet forward,
come to Uttanasana, fold, let your hips, shoulders, head move, whatever feels right to you. All right, so bending deeply, relax your skull now. Interlace your hands at the base of your skull, a little bit of draw down toward the ground and then in toward your body. And then relax your hands on blocks or legs and stretch open to a half lift. Find your breath. Let's open up the bottom of your feet. Can you lift your toes up a little bit and see if you can find the line from the bottom of your toes all the way through the bottom of your feet, wrapping around your Achilles, up the calves, up the hamstrings, all the way through the back line of the spine to the crown. And then melt and relax that line. Soften your knees, soften your skull. And as you're ready, rise all the way up. Bring your arms to the sky. Open up, lean back if it feels nice. Now the front body gets an opportunity to open and feel expansive. Let's cactus open the heart here. Spread your wings. Feel the back body get a good little squeeze. And then exhale and round in, forearms to touch. Inhale again, arms up, lean back a little bit, a little gentle back bend. Let's cactus open the arms and then swing the hands down and roll forward. Relax your skull. A halfway lift, spine is growing, melt and fold again. Let's step the left foot back, come to a lunge with your right foot in front and feel that extension in the body. Heart is nice and open. Let's bend and straighten the front foot or front knee here. So we feel the flow of breath taking us for a journey, finding our way into all the myriad of sensations in our body that we're feeling. Let's have such deep gratitude for being able to move our bodies, allowing ourselves to have that form of exercise, any form of exercise that you love, to help you with your stress levels, to help you with your sleep. And then ground into your lunge, feel the roots, and then take a journey upward, and maybe your arms come up to the sky, maybe they're in a different plane. Feel the open heart and the grounded legs. Feel that breath. And then release your hands down to the ground. Let's come back to dog pose. A long extended spine again. Feel those roots. Come forward into a plank and hold yourself here nice and steady. If you're like me and your shoulder can't support that very well, then go ahead and find all fours instead. Stabilize through your core. And then find your way down to the ground. Shoulder rolls a few times. Take a deep breath in. Open up through a cobra. Big open heart. Melt and relax. Let's choose another one. Any pathway into an extended spine that you love. And again, feel that opening of the whole front spine. And then melt and relax. Come up onto your hands and your knees and let's move around. So wagging your tail, rolling, circling, anything that feels good. Stretch back towards child's pose. Don't worry, Alana, I won't forget the other side. Feel that length. Relax in child's pose. Now, instead of feeling like we're moving side to side to open up the sides of the spine, see if you can just let this dog pose help you to open up the full back line of the spine. It's subtle, child's pose isn't an extreme pose, but it sure does, I hope, feel good to your body. Okay, come back up. While we're here, we're going to do a twist. Lift your left arm up in the air. Feel that thoracic spine open. Exhale and drop the shoulder down. Enjoy this. Let your head rest down. Close your eyes. Let the blanket over your eyes, of your eyelids, rest your eyes. Take a deep breath. Stretch those exhales out as long as they'll go. Now reach that arm all the way back up. Hand comes down onto the ground, switching sides, arm lifts. Exhale, shoulder coming down, gaze toward the ground. Finding breath here. A full inhale. Complete exhale. And reach that arm all the way back up. Hand comes down onto the ground, dog pose. Feel that long extended spine. Notice how your body's opening. Notice how your mind is becoming more still and present. Notice the breath. Let's bring our left foot in front now, finding a lunge here, opening up through the hip flexors of that back leg. And let's enjoy the sensations that come as we straighten the front leg, bowing the head, bending the front knee, lifting the heart. Finding rhythm of breathing as you go. Ground yourself, feel your way into the roots of a lunge, lifting your arms to the sky if this feels right to you, otherwise a different position. Feel the open heart extend upward as you ground downward. Melt into the base of your skull, still finding that fullness of breath here. Press that front heel deep into the ground. Lower your hands down to the ground, back to dog pose. Long, spacious spine. And then walk your feet forward and come to Uttanasana again. Relax your skull. The halfway lift. Melt and relax again. Rising upward. Arms lifting to the sky, tracing down through the center. Just notice how you feel, these basic postures of yoga that we do all the time. There's good reason to do them all the time. When you put your body through the paces of opening in this way, not only do you benefit in the mind and in the breath, all the joints of your body thank you for you taking the opportunity to move them. Let's take our legs wide, turn sideways on your mat, come to a low squat and open up your legs here. Let's stretch the inner groins, round the feet, finding your breath. We're gonna come back up. Turn your foot out right, and we're going to find our way into Virabhadrasana 2. Shoulders drop down, gaze out over your fingers. Feel this grounded, wide stance that your body has right now. Full breaths, soft shoulders. Can you put even weight into both your feet? A little flow here. Reach the arm up, feel that extension through your side, and then find your way into Parsvakonasana. Feel that extension and length through the side of your body here. Root into your feet well. Feel that grounding, press down so there's a lot of strength in your lower legs. All right, let's reverse the warrior one more time. And then back into Virabhadrasana 2. Gaze softly over your finger pads. And then come to stand up. Wide-legged stance. Again, turn your toes out. Come down to a steep squat. Lean forward. maybe a little weight into this foot and that foot, but opening up the inner groins. Come back up. Let's find our way to the standing poses on this side. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Drop the shoulders, ground yourself here, root into your feet, settle the grounding energy moving down into your body. Full breaths. Track that front knee well. Feel your legs, spread out your toes. Give yourself the energy into all the areas of your body. Heart stretching out to hands, crown lifting from tail, feet rooting. Fullness of your breath, both on the inhale and the full exhale. Reverse your warrior, feeling that extension in your side. And then find Parsvakonasana as you open up that right side of your body. Feel the grounding of your back foot, that right foot. Shoulders away from the ears. So much strength. So give into the juice of your legs. Root down. Full breaths. I'll reverse back to our reverse warrior. Arm up. Find that breath. Back into Virabhadrasana 2. Shoulders relax. Stretch heart to hands. And then we'll straighten the legs. And this time, turn your feet forward, but straight legs. Come down, open up the backs of the hamstrings. Let your head soften. And we're gonna heel toe our feet in. You can put hands on blocks to do this if you want to. All the way to either your feet hip width apart or come to touch your toes, however you like to do a chair pose. Squatting down now. Remember, your arms can be up overhead, but your hands can be anywhere else that your body wants them to be. Feel now the effort in the back of your legs a little bit. Put your weight into your heels and press down like you want to stand up, but you're not. And then slowly start to rise up, open the heart, separate the feet, and fold forward. Relax your head. Feel an extension in your spine, half lift, and then melt. Let's come back to a dog pose. Take your hands wide, your feet on the ground, root down. Come forward into a plank. Feel that, again, that sturdiness, steadiness. And then let's lower down all the way to the ground. And again, choose a back bend that you love. Okay, so anything that gives you that extension in the body. And then relax. So we're going to do a little work here, just a little bit of work to kind of find that stability of the pelvis and the core. Put your hands underneath your head. Let's take our legs to a comfortable distance apart. You might take your toes to the edge of the mat. Might be more wide, less wide. You kind of find what works. We're going to keep our head down on our hands and just lift our legs. So feel the work from the outer hips all the way to the feet. The glutes are working, but they're not compressing in toward the sacrum. All right, and then relax your legs. I come up and flip over onto our back and grab your smushy ball. If you don't have a smushy ball, you can do this on a block if you want to. It won't quite give you the same bridge that we're looking for here, but you can try it. Now, I would smush the ball pretty good, like at least half of the air in the ball is gone. But you can experiment and see what feels good to you. The higher air in the ball, the harder this becomes.
So you want to start in a place where you really know that you're going to have some good balance. All right, so first just start in a bridge pose where the pelvis is on the ball. Take a moment to feel the grounding. Now we just did some standing poses and kind of, move through some vinyasa. So you might have some energy kind of flowing in you. So just notice that. Start to feel into that breath that we had in the beginning. You don't have to hold your exhale, but just lengthen as best as you can. If there's any shaking in your legs or fatigue, that's okay. So just notice what is. All right, we're gonna slowly pick up our feet and we're gonna have our knees over our pelvis with our feet in the air. So like a right angle. You can also be a little lower than a right angle, but if you can be at a right angle with your knees, that's great. Now just start to notice how wobbly this is. This is not a stable environment. So notice if your arms are trying to brace you, see if you can let your whole upper body not do the bracing. The bracing is coming from the core, not the neck, not the arms, not the head, but the center of your body. And then slowly lower your feet down. We're going to do a little movement within that. First, just have a moment to just relax your feet on the ground. And if you feel wobbly, take your feet wide. That might help you get a little bit more grounded. All right, so here we're going to find our way up one more time. Knees over pelvis, feet at right angles if you can manage it. And of course, if your back's a little nervous about this, you can bring your knees a little closer to your spine too, but that will make where we're going a little more challenging. Okay? So again, try not to root your arms or your head to stabilize you, root through your core to stabilize you. Let the wobbles happen. This is, we're testing our balance. We're using our proprioceptive skills. This is very developmentally good for balance. Okay? So when you get a little, step off a curb in a funny way, you have these muscles ready to go. All right, we're going to drop our heel down one at a time. So right heel comes down and then slowly moves back up. And then the left. So engage your core, engage your pelvic floor. Try to have the wobbles happen a little bit. So we're not trying to anchor ourselves down so securely that we're not breathing and we're not moving. So let there be some play in your body and feel where you're stable from. Make sure it's not stability coming from your head pressing down or your neck getting tense or your arms getting tense. See if you can let the upper body be as passive as possible as you really work with the center, the pelvis, and the core cylinder of your abdomen. How's your breath? Try not to hold the breath. Just tapping one heel down. Yep. And put your feet down. We're going to do one more thing. Okay? So just put your feet down and rest for a moment and kind of check in. Make sure your back and your SI joints are okay with what you're doing. You don't want to do too much where you're no longer able to use your intrinsic stabilizers. If you find yourself compensating, you need to rest or stop or do something different. Okay, now we're going to bring our knees back up to that right angle. Now we're going to keep the right angles of our knees. And we're going to open our knees out to the sides. Feet come out too. We're keeping that right angle with our knees. And then back in towards center. And again, you're going to be wobbly. Try not to anchor your arms or your head. But we're finding the core stabilizing you. Now notice, do you get more wobbly on the way out? Or do you get more wobbly on the way back in? When you go out or in, do you have a leader leg, a follower leg? See if you can find a sense of symmetry in your core, your hip flexors, your pelvic floor, your transverse abdominis. There's a lot of muscles, your psoas, there's a lot of muscles that are integrating to make this happen. It's making me shake a little bit. I don't know if anybody else is having that feeling. So head is heavy, arms are relaxed, nothing's pressing, your head's not pressing, just relaxing into the ground. How is your breath? All right, now we're gonna relax that and pick up the ball, get it out of there, rest on it. Feet can be as hip width or wider and just start to windshield wiper your knees. Nice and easy through some movement. Breathing well. So hopefully you've now had the experience of both kind of opening a lot of these muscles with the gold towel work we did, and then feeling how they can support you, and those core cylinder muscles can support you. All right, so ask yourself what you need. Everybody's different after this. Some people need like a happy baby or a rocking plow or a plow. Some people need a twist. Some people need to roll over and go into child's pose. So some people like a hip stretch, like a reverse pigeon pose. So, you know, whatever your body is calling for, there's so many choices, pathways to take. So think less, feel more, let your body do the choosing. So whatever pathways you've taken, as you find your way toward Shavasana, we're gonna be here for a bit, so make sure that you feel like you've gotten all the kinks out, you know, that you've done what you need to do. Keep moving if you need to keep moving to get any kind of nook and cranny released and restored in your body that you haven't yet. And as you prepare for Shavasana, we're going to find your way into warmth and comfort. So put your socks back on or your sweatshirt back on. Get props that you might need for the surrendering that's about to happen. And then once you feel prepared, warm and comfortable, and even though, you know, one of the sleep hygiene tactics is a cold bedroom, that doesn't mean be cold. It just means have the air be cold, so that your body, your core body temperature when you're sleeping goes down. But nobody likes to be cold when they're trying to rest. So make sure right now you feel comfortably warm, and not hot, but comfortably warm. Once you settle into any support that you need, first just take a deep breath and let your exhales help you to begin the art of rest. Let's take a few moments to just relax into your breathing, paying attention to your breathing. Feeling the beautiful nature of taking that prana in on your inhale. And then flip that switch, and as the exhale arrives, melt. Whatever you can release, release. Feel the feeling as best as you can of the whole body breath. If there's nothing to hold on to, you can let go on those exhales. Now your whole body can invite and welcome the inhale. And there's many ways of doing yoga nidras, many ways. We're just gonna do a little progressive relaxation here. Let's start at the crown of the head. So first, just feel the weight of your head rest down. Doesn't have to be pressure anywhere, but just feel that your head can get heavy. And feel the bones of your skull on the top of your head relax. Sense into the bones kind of behind your eyes, behind your nose, and rest there. Relax your temples, and the insides of your ears. Now the jaw joint, relax your jawline, feeling your tongue, your mouth, your teeth soften. And again, letting your eyes rest under the blankets of your lids. Your cheekbones relaxed, your sinuses spacious. Down into the base of your skull and the inner walls of your throat. Maybe swallow if that feels natural to you. And then relax the root of your tongue, trachea, your throat. Moving down into your collarbones, your sternum. Letting your breath arrive gently, melt in this area. Feel the back of your neck relax and your shoulder blades get heavy on the ground. Feel the arm bones and your shoulder sockets melt. The weight of your elbows. Heaviness of your forearms. The backs of the hands resting on the ground. Sense of ease through your palms. Soft curl in your fingers. No tension, no gripping any which way. Back to your shoulder blades, mouth. Feeling your ribs as you breathe. Allow your diaphragm to soften. Feeling the rise and fall gently of your belly. Traveling down the spine, down the belly, all the way to the pelvis. And a sense of space. Allow the sacrum to get heavy on the ground. Sense of freedom through the pelvic bowl. And ease across the pelvic floor. Feeling the breath touch the pelvic floor. Sweeping wide to the side joints and the hip joints. Let everything melt and soften. And the weight of your femorons travel down the inside and tops of your legs. Down to your knees. Travel down the outside and the backs of your legs. Down to your knees, backs of your knees.
Feel the weight of your calves, the seven of your tibias and fibulas. And the weight of your heels. Softness and spaciousness. Connecting to the heaviness of your whole body. Imagine your breath is being drunken in by every cell. Every exhale, all weight comes down. Breathing as we turn our awareness to what's around us. So that your breath, your movements in your yoga practice, your mindfulness, all of these things will help you sleep. But know that your yoga practice is serving you in so many ways. Let's go ahead and move about in whatever way helps you. Rolling to your side as you're ready. No rush. Eventually, we're finding that curled side and then coming to a comfortable seat. As you come to this seat, just notice how you feel. No right or wrong answer to asking yourself the question, how do you feel? Just heightening your awareness of self. Place your palms at your heart and let's offer our energy. Send your grounded, relaxed energy to another. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.